All right, everybody, good afternoon. We've got a few more safeties to get through, and then we are moving on to what I call cleanup. And that'll be tomorrow. First, we got to clear through these safeties, and we're going to start with somebody who I actually liked quite a bit when I was done with the evaluation. It's Jay Ward of the LSU Tigers. 23 years old, 6'1", 188 pounds, so slight. He's lean. He could eat a sandwich or two. 32.5-inch arms, 8.25-inch hands. Tested quite respectably. 11-inch broad, 34.5-inch vert, 1.53 10-yard split, and a 4.55 40. Hey, that's credible, especially for this area of the draft. CBS actually has him late day 2, but everyone else has him in the 4th or 5th, maybe even the 6th. The aggregate currently has him in the late 5th, early 6th. 24 games, 130 tackles over the last 2 years, 3 interceptions, 8 passes defensed. Coverage grade last year was bad, but I like Jay Ward a lot. I think there's a little bit of potential here. He was a team leader for the LSU Tigers. I believe that Tigers defense went through 3 different defensive coordinators over the last 3 years, by the way, so there was a lot of turmoil. His motor runs super hot. He's always giving maximum effort. He played corner previously. That may be something that gives him a little bit of NFL flexibility. He's really good at breaking on the ball when it's in the air. He's got a really good understanding of when to just plant and go to go make a play. He's going to be excellent in zone defense. He's probably going to find himself playing the Quandre Diggs role, but I think he can also come up really strongly in run support and can even shed blocks because of his length and athleticism to make a play. So the name of the game here is versatility. This guy can cover deep zones and come up in the box. Now, he does need to become a better tackler fundamentally. He does need to improve his technique when it comes to tackling, but that's something that can be taught. I am concerned about his size. He's only 188 pounds. That's going to be a little bit of a problem in the NFL. He may not be able to hit so violently, and he may not be able to play the way that he plays at LSU in the NFL because he's too small. He comes up and tries to do that to Derrick Henry. It may not end well for him. But I really like this guy. And even with the injury concern and the wonders about his play style, I would take this guy because I think these skills largely translate. He's fast. He's pretty explosive. He's always giving maximum effort. He's got a good understanding of zone defense. Like, these are things that should work in the NFL. So for me, a 4th round grade, yeah, I'll do it in the 4th round. I think that's a little bit earlier than most places have him, but I like Jay Ward. I think this could be just what the doctor ordered for a Fangio defense, and he's got the flexibility to continue to be valuable even if we move to another defense in the coming years. All right, next up we have Daniel Scott of California. This is a little bit of an older guy, 24 years old, 6'1", 208 pounds, big, 30.25-inch arms, 10-inch hands. Tested very, very impressively. His 3-cone, super quick. His 20-yard shuttle was okay. It jumps really good, explosive, almost a 40-inch vert. 4.45 40, 1.55 10-yard split. The testing got him some really positive attention. ESPN and CBS have him going day 2. The aggregate has him going late-ish round 5 though. 24 games the last 2 years, 170 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 6 interceptions, only 6 passes defense though, which is kind of weird, right? Pretty okay coverage grade last year for Cali, so pretty good numbers too, some real production here. He's got great range. I think he'll be a good deep safety. He at least has the skill set of a deep safety. He moves well. He's a fluid mover. And that's notable and impressive given the fact that he is a little bit on the bigger side for a safety. 6'1", 208 pounds is notably big. I think he'll be good in man coverage because he moves well. And he does have slot corner flexibility. So that's all well and good. But again, versatility being what it is, his tackling is heinous. I believe that he leads the country in missed tackles as a safety over the last several years. He averages like a missed tackle and a half per game. It's not good. So he's a bad tackler. He's not going to be good as a box safety. His technique when he tries to come up and run support is bad. He's on the older side. His ceiling's a little bit lower because of it. And it's weird for me to say his ceiling is lower when he tested so well. But I don't know. This guy's such a bad tackler. He's got a lot to overcome. He strikes me as a pure deep safety with no real ability to provide anything additional outside of special teams. So, sixth round selection, mostly for special teams, would be my grade here. This one's weird, right? Like you look at these combine numbers and you're like, wow, this guy has something. This guy has some juice in the tank. But then you look at the way he plays, and it's hard to imagine him becoming that well-rounded safety we really need. He's already pretty much physically capped out because he's already 24 years old. The bad technique as an older prospect. If you're 24 years old coming out of college, you should have cleaner technique than this. So Daniel Scott, unfortunately, I wanted to really like this guy. I couldn't get there. I say sixth round is fair. I wouldn't be angry if we took him a little bit earlier just because there is some potential here. But I'm just not getting the sense that he's ever going to utilize it. DeMarcco Hellams, another Alabama safety. And at the risk of sounding like a Crimson Tide homer, I found myself really liking all the safeties that the Crimson Tide brought to bear this season. 23 years old, 6'1", 203 pounds, 31-inch arms, 9-inch hands. Tested okay-ish. 4.57 40, 1.57 10-yard split, 31-inch vert, 10-foot 1-inch broad. Not the best. A lot of big boards have him in like the 7th. Draft Network has him up in the 5th. The aggregate currently actually has him in about the 5th or 6th round. So you'd be able to get him relatively late, it looks like. I'm not seeing any big board saying he's going to be some surprise 4th round pick. Lot of production these last 2 years for Alabama as their, I guess you could say, third safety. 27 games, almost 200 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, a sack, 4 interceptions, 10 passes defensed, above average coverage grade from PFF. Name of the game. What do we keep saying? What is the keyword we're using in these videos? Versatility. This guy has versatility. He can play up, close to the line of scrimmage, or he can play back, covering deep zones and being the last line of defense. He's excellent at breaking on routes from zone coverage. You leave him in zone, you allow him to watch the play develop from facing the line of scrimmage. He's going to diagnose things and then go break on the play and go get involved in the play. Very rangy, covers a lot of ground. He's a hard hitter. Really good coming up in run support as a box safety. So he's giving you positive traits in all these areas. Some of the issues with Hellams: awkward hips. He gets beat deep because he doesn't flip the hips fluidly. He'll get beat deep, so don't leave him in man all the time. Generally, he's not going to hold up well in man coverage. His speed is not going to cut it. 4.57 40 is fine for a safety in many capacities, but if you try to leave him in man coverage against receivers, he's going to get toasted. So the versatility has my attention for sure. I think that the Fangio defense would be a good fit for him. I think he'll be good in coverage and against the run as long as you understand the kind of player that he is. Most of his flaws are about holding up in man. So maybe you just can't have him be slot corner, but that's okay. That's okay. If he's giving you good reps at safety, you don't need him to also be a good slot corner. So, honestly, 4th round. I'd take him in the 4th round and be totally cool with that. I wouldn't really want to go higher than that, of course, but 4th round, for what this team needs, what this defense needs, sign me up. DeMarcco Hellams, one of my favorite Hellams. I call him a little bit of a sleeper. One of my favorite guys that I think is getting a little bit slept on by the mainstream media. Okay, last safety in this video and last safety of today, Jordan Howden of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And this is a guy we had in for a top 30 visit. But he's also a relatively credible prospect in his own right. Not huge attention from big boards, but a little bit. 23 years old, 6 feet tall, 203 pounds, 32 and a quarter, 9.5-inch hands. Tested well for a guy in this area of the draft. 4.49 40, 1.55 10-yard split. Jumps were mediocre, but this is good for a guy who's probably going to be lucky to be a 7th rounder. Most of the big boards had him going undrafted. CBS had him going in like the 6th. The aggregate has him going in the 7th. Last 2 years, he's 25 games, about 100 tackles, 5 for loss. 2 interceptions last year, 10 total passes defensed, 80.6 PFF grade for the Golden Gophers. So what I can say about Howden, he's got a lot of experience and he was a team captain for Minnesota, so team leader, and he's seen it all. He's seen it all. He plays a lot of pretty good teams, by the way, when he's playing for Minnesota. He plays deep zones very intelligently, so if you have him as your last line of defense safety, he's going to do pretty well at that. Great understanding of play recognition, knows how to read the play and then go make a break on it. Really fluid mover in space, so might be able to even hold up a little bit in man coverage. Really might be able to hold up in tight end coverage as well. So not bad there. He should at the very least be a good special teams player. He should be able to tackle on special teams. And again, tested pretty well. I do think he needs to improve as a tackler. That's going to increase his value on special teams and defense. I don't think he's a great tackler. We'll have to prove his physical abilities can translate fully on the field. And the reason why I say that is because he didn't look that fast playing on the football field. His testing numbers did not fully show themselves on the football field. His change of direction skills are lacking, so that's something that might create some issues when he's in man coverage. I think he's a pretty good mover, but his change of direction skills are somewhat lacking. So the testing's pretty good. He's got good athletic upside. His deep zone safety skills, which he's already shown off in Minnesota. Put it all together, I'm not against him in the 6th round. I'm not crazy about it, but there's something here that is pretty likable. I don't know if he'll ever be the truly versatile safety that we need, but he could be the versatile safety that provides good depth. Could be the versatile safety that also chips in on special teams. So 6th round, sure. All right, so that's it for the safeties of this draft. We do have a couple more guys to look at tomorrow, but basically it's basically a wrap for the draft evaluations. Just a few more tomorrow, just a few bonus ones, and we're out. So see you guys later. Go Hawks.